Okay, press conference for Middlebury. Winners today in overtime. Head coach Catherine DiLorenzo and players Grace Keefe, Tessa Herbst, and Claire McMichael. Thanks for coming. Congratulations on the win. Coach, if you would, give us your summary of today's game and how you saw it from the sidelines.
Well, today's game was certainly a tale of sort of two different Middlebury teams. I think we started off, a little bit stale might be the right word. Just energy was a little bit low, anticipation was a little bit low, and when you're like that against an athletic, spontaneous team that's won 18 in a row like Endicott, you can get caught behind the eight ball. And they took advantage of two mistakes, sort of one big mistake and then made a really great play on the other second goal, and all of a sudden they're up 2-0 when we're out shooting them 13-3. So, but we really dug deep, found ourselves, reworked a few things, stepped up in the field quite a bit, put a lot more pressure on them in the second half and in overtime. We were well organized. One of the, this resembles a game we were down in a conference championship 3-0 in 2021, and we went down early like that in the first period, and it really felt like that when you get behind. If you can get behind really early in a game and you have 45 minutes or more to change how you're doing things, change your approach, and you have players like the ones that are on either side of me, it can be a really exciting story to write. We talk about that a lot, writing our own story in this particular year has been unique. The challenges have been many, but as you saw today, just a brilliant experience for every person out there to watch a team sort of transform themselves in a matter of minutes and really take over the field and take over the game in many, many ways. It certainly was a battle to the end. Tessa had a defensive save on the goal line to keep overtime going. But we really found ourselves and found a wonderful version, best overtime we've played yet this year, and we've played a lot of them. Very, very proud of the insight, the approach, and the belief.
Yeah, you talked about the two different teams that you saw today, but you also played them in overtime earlier in the year, lost them. You've played, I think this was like your 10th game that had gone to overtime all year. What lessons do you think you had learned about how to attack overtime with this specific team that you have this year that led up to what happened today?
Yeah, well, without giving away, anything you don't want to give away going into a game tomorrow, I'd say one of the things you learn is like how to sort of deploy your group, and where do you put safety nets that might cost you, and where do you step up in the field and make them play you. So I think that if I, even now with the season still going, reflect on the season is, from a coaching standpoint, too many safety nets that haven't unleashed our team all the time at the right times to just go at the other team rather than protecting against the attack that we're facing. So tons of lessons. What I enjoy so much about coaching is learning how much larger the capacity is for each person and thus then for the team. Every experience I have with them, and I certainly learned a lot more today.
And then Claire, obviously it's great to have so much possession. Your team dominated possession pretty much the entire fourth quarter and beyond. Does it ever become difficult or feel stagnant when you just have the ball in your offensive part of the field so much, or is it just all positive and one of the shots is eventually going to go?
I think one of the things our team focuses on is coming away not just with a goal, but a scare or a corner or an opportunity for our team. So as long as we're being efficient with our possessions and making productive things happen, then it's a win for us. But at the end of the day, it's whoever scores more. So it does, sometimes with the possession, it gets a little hard, but we're not coming away with more goals from the corners or from the circle entries. But, yeah.
Grace, What's it like to be down 2-0 and then have to play the rest of that game, bring it back to the winning edge?
You know, like Coach said, I think we were on our heels a little bit at the beginning, kind of feeling out the game. I think it always takes like the first half of the first quarter to kind of figure out how things are going to go. And going down 2-0 in the first like 10 minutes is hard, especially with, you know, a lucky corner goal for them. It was a great executed corner. I think we just had to really reset and realize how much time we had left, and then we just slowly chipped away. We dominated possession, little passes, little uploads to get up the field into our offensive quarter and half. And you know, I think there's so much grit on this team. We just really chipped away at it little by little, knowing that we had the ability to put the ball in the back of the net 1 and then 2 times. You know, I think some teams can get really frustrated when we go down 2-0, and you're like, well, it's the most dangerous lead in sports, and we saw that today. So, you know, it's just you got to get one back little by little, and that's what we did. We were really working hard in that second quarter, didn't get anything on the board, and then the third quarter came out really strong, got those 2 opportunities, tied it up, and we were really energized going to the fourth quarter. And that momentum just carried us through the whole game. Yeah.
Tessa, your coach, your stop that you made. Can you take us through that series and how you found yourself in that position?
Yeah. Honestly, don't quite remember what led up to it, but we had some messy play in the back, I think, from me to begin it. Endicott got the ball and was taking it into the circle. Our goalie, Izzy, made an incredible save, and the ball's kind of just sitting there at the goal line. So I was really fortunate to be in the position to clear that ball out, and excited to be able to help out my team to get more attacking chances and keep us in the game.
Claire, you hit the game winner. So if you can, just sort of talk about OT, energy that even exists, you scored a goal.
Yeah, I think it was already been touched on by Keith about how much grit our team has, and we were kind of stale in the beginning, and we had a momentum shift with so much energy starting from the bench. We carried that energy into overtime. We gave it our all because we're playing for more time together. So yeah, everyone on the field is giving it their all and trying to win more time together. Yeah.
2 of 3 goals from Claire today. So, Coach, is that what you count on half the time?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we always listen to the players too. You know, Claire made a couple suggestions about how we rearrange some people, so we did that, and it was really heavily impactful on the game today. You know, all 3 of our players touching on grabbing another opportunity to play. You know, probably the biggest motivation you discover talking to any of these players is just they don't want the season to end because they want to keep playing. You know, and all, you know, championship bids aside, the opportunity to experience a day like today and have another game that you get to apply yourselves, deploy the team, and be crafty, reinvent yourselves again. That doesn't happen in the span of a couple of hours in many areas of life. You know, it really expedites the process of learning about oneself, learning about the group of people you're working with. And that's precisely why this experience today is a great example of why the place in higher education for sports still is the right place.
Lastly, I think you've seen your next opponent a
Yeah.
time or 2
Yeah.
in the past. So talk about your matchup.
Yeah, well, obviously we're heavily focused on Endicott heading into today, and
Correct.
you know, like Middlebury, Hopkins is always a very solid structural team. You know, you play a lot of teams where it's difficult to discern what's their structure, what are they intending to do. And Middlebury and Hopkins are as similar, I think, as any 2 teams in terms of they have a readable structure, but we play a big game, both teams. And I think the the athletic, we got to get our legs up tonight and, recover as much as we can before tomorrow. I think it's going to be an interesting, good-looking, up-tempo contest with a lot of skillful players out there. Just like with Hopkins, with Middlebury, we've never played this Hopkins team. No Hopkins team has ever played this Middlebury team. So it's not a rematch of any sorts, in my opinion. The two labels are the same, but we have a completely different team this year than we had last year, and in any of the 4 times that we've played Hopkins. So I think it's going to be a brilliant day for Division III field hockey. And, Jane and I, leading both our teams, we have taken, I think, great pride in being at least forerunners in the trends and the development and the progress of Division III field hockey. And I think that's what you'll see tomorrow. It's just an incredible contest with a lot of really skillful, dedicated, insightful players who are going to make it a great game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a card.
I remember that.